Hi everybody, let's learn about the negative impacts of plastic water bottles with us. Did you know in Brunei, an average person uses 420 liters of water each day? This is equivalent to 280 water bottles per day. And 1.3 billion plastic bottles are produced and sold worldwide, which is equivalent to half the size of the Eiffel Tower. So what happens to these plastic bottles after they've been used? 1. They could end up in landfills. Study shows that 80% of waste collected from the beaches were plastics, majority of which were plastic bottles. 2. They could be recycled, but only 30% of polyester plastics gets to be downcycled into polyester fabrics and clothing that typically go to landfills after one use. 3. They could be dumped into the ocean, where many marine animals are affected, causing suffocation and starvation. 4. They could be incinerated. However, plastic incineration releases toxins such as chlorine and bromine. And finally, all these 4 factors contribute to the depletion of ozone layer, which is harmful to our environment. The ozone layer acts as a protection for the earth. We humans need this protection, or else we'd be more susceptible to skin cancer and other diseases. It is recorded that ozone layer has depleted over time due to human activities such as throwing out plastics into the ocean. So what happens when plastic bottles are incinerated? When plastic bottles are burned, it releases 3 chemicals that are harmful for the human body. 1. Carbon monoxide, 2. Dioxin and furans, and 3. It could be volatile, many of which could cause respiratory systems, cancer disorder, dizziness, and headaches. So how does burning plastic bottles affect the ozone layer? So the burning of plastic bottles releases carbon dioxide, which is a significant contributor to air pollution and greenhouse gases. Carbon dioxide traps the radiation at the ground level, resulting in ground level ozone. This prevents the earth from cooling during the night and also warms the ocean water. So now let's look at the decomposition of plastic water bottles. Many plastic bottles are not biodegradable. This means that it could persist in the environment for a very long time. Some studies even show that it could last up to 1,000 years. A combination of the sun's energy and environmental factors such as rain will continue to degrade plastic bottles into microplastics and further release toxic chemicals into the environment by decomposition, resulting again in depletion of ozone layer. But what would happen to marine life if plastic bottles were dumped into the ocean? So why are plastic bottles a potential risk to the ocean's health? So, the amount of plastic particles increases the amount of chemical compound in the sea surface layer, and this causes marine microorganisms like bacteria to be more productive, resulting in an increase in production and bacterial activity. Because of this, bacteria uses up most of its oxygen, which reduces the oxygen content in the ocean, affecting the growth and reproduction of other marine creatures to decrease due to the lack of oxygen present in the ocean. Now, let's look at the biogeochemical of carbon cycle in the ocean. From the atmosphere, carbon dioxide is absorbed by planktons in the ocean to undergo the process of photosynthesis, which results in the production of oxygen and glucose. The planktons can produce up to 70% of the oxygen that we breathe in. Marine creatures in the ocean then use up the oxygen and release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which again absorbs by the plankton to photosynthesize. However, the excessive plastic pollution enables the planktons to photosynthesize properly. Planktons are unable to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere due to the buildup of rubbish and microplastics in the surface of the ocean. And you guessed it, many of these microplastics are the source of plastic bottles. Now, we have finally learned about the negative impacts of plastic bottles to our environment, animals, and us humans. So help us make the right decisions to make our world a better place to live in. Share your thoughts and thank you for learning with us.